Hey guys, Elliott here from Movie Files, here to give you guys my thoughts, recap, kind of breakdown of the most recent episode of The Walking Dead, episode number 6 of season 8. So, with that being said, guys, welcome and let's get right into it. So as I said, this is episode number 6, which was titled "The King, the Widow, and Rick." And we got a lot in this episode. We got some of the kingdom. We got some a little bit of a brief moment of Alexandria. We got some of the hilltop going on, and we introduced some new characters. So pretty eventful episode to a degree of just kind of character development. Really, there wasn't too much action going on, which again, this show isn't really an action show. One of the reasons I love Walking Dead is kind of those character developments and kind of getting into the character's mind and kind of putting yourself in that position and what would you do. So we got a lot of that this episode. Like I said, not a lot of action, but just more quieter character moments that we got in this episode. So with that being said, starting off with the hilltop, we get some Maggie, we get some Jesus and the Saviors. That whole situation kind of played out where Jesus brought them to the hilltop a couple episodes ago, and obviously, as a viewer, I was upset with Jesus. I don't know why he thought that was a smart decision. His logic is, the more people they can bring in, obviously, he can maybe switch them over and have them join forces against the Sanctuary and the Saviors. But I mean, you can't trust these people, and that's where Maggie's kind of coming from, and a couple other people in the hilltop. But we see that kind of play out. That they they spend it's like a day or so where the Jesus is feeding the saviors, and it's like you see that obviously Maggie is against that, and then some other people, including Gregory. He kind of has a scene with Maggie where he talks about wolves and sheep and what have you. So after that conversation, Maggie decides to let the saviors in and let them kind of stay in a confined area, like a kind of a prison area where they can't get loose. We'll see how that plays out. I don't think it's a smart idea, but Maggie allows them to come in a confined space, and she actually puts Gregory in there, which is probably the smartest thing she's done this season, because Gregory, after letting the hilltop him saying that the Hilltop's going to join alliance with the Saviors, they should just put him in there in the first place if they want to let him in, which they ultimately did. So we get a little bit of that. That was pretty much resolved. That Maggie is using the Saviors at this point for leverage. If they want to bargain, getting some people out of the Sanctuary that might be part of Rick's crew. Obviously, we know Gabriel and Eugene is there, so they're going to maybe use some of these people from the Sanctuary, the Saviors, to get their people back. As I said, we got a brief moment at Alexandria where we finally get Michonne back. I know she's out doing some Marvel stuff with Black Panther and Infinity War, so she hasn't really been much involved in the season. I think we only saw her once briefly in the first episode. We get her back. We get Rosita back as well. Again, hasn't been much of a factor in this season, but we see that they go on a side mission, and this is where the frustrating part of the episode goes with me. We see them decide to go on a side mission because Michonne just can't sleep. She has to see the Sanctuary. She feels like she was part of this war to begin with, to getting things started, so she feels like she has to at least see the Sanctuary. I didn't really get that storyline or that particular beat that they put out in the episode. And Rosita just wants to go along because, again, she's just been a hothead for the last few seasons. So we see that kind of play out. We see Daryl and Tara meet up, and they want to have a side mission. And like I said, this whole play out, this whole scene, the storyline for me, where everyone's rebelling against the plan that Rick and crew have come up with. Like, they've come up with this plan together, obviously, but obviously we have some people that don't really want to do what they said they were going to do, and particularly with Daryl. We got that last week with Rick and Daryl getting into a little fight, a little scuffle there. But to me, the frustrating part is just like these people haven't learned a lesson. I mean, Michonne, when we first were introduced to her, she obviously, which worked out for the better, she obviously had her suspicions about the governor and the way that played out. She didn't have a strategy behind it. It was just kind of forced with, it was led by emotions rather than using her brain. We've seen Michonne actually do that several times throughout the seasons, her just do side missions and kind of go against the plan. We've seen that with Daryl. I mean, hell, honestly, he's one of my favorite characters, but I mean, he's the reason why we don't have Glenn. I mean, obviously, it was going to play out that way anyway, but I mean, in the world, in the show that they're in, he's to blame for, Glenn's death, and him, again, thinking off of emotion, not really thinking about what he's doing in the moment. And Tara not telling Rick about the ocean side. It's just so many bad decisions amongst these characters. They just keep repeating it. Rosita, don't let me leave her out. I mean, her getting Eugene taken by having him make the bullet. her going on a rogue mission with Sasha, obviously that didn't play out well. So it's just like these characters, can you learn from your mistakes? It's just kind of frustrating that they're all doing their little side missions and not sticking to the plan. Because ultimately, we know that this isn't going to work out. We see that, Rosita and Michonne go off to, again, want to go see the sanctuary, and they get kind of sidetracked. They hear some music playing in the background. They investigate it, find some saviors, getting a truck rigged together with speakers to kind of take that to the sanctuary to get the walkers away. We see, one of the highlights of the episode, we see Rosita take out one of the saviors with a RPG, which is pretty cool. But we see the truck drive away, and Daryl comes in the nick of time, takes out the truck, and we see Rosita and Tara and Daryl and Michonne goes to Sanctuary, and Daryl says, we're going to end this now, which again is just kind of frustrating. It's just like, just stick to the plan. I don't know why. I know, again, Daryl has motivation. He feels like he let Glenn die, which he did. He was responsible for that, but it's just like, just stick to the plan. It's just so frustrating for me to see that. We get I don't even know what to call them at this point, the garbage people. We see Rick go there to try to make a deal with them, but I don't know why he hasn't learned his lesson not to trust them. They put him in a cart and leave him in the cart naked, and we'll see what that goes next week. There wasn't that much to be said about what went on there, except for these people, this community is so crazy to me as far as their placement in the show. They just feel so offbeat, like their broken language. Again, it can be unique if it was a different show, but to me, this show they don't fit the show, the criteria as far as the kind of the characteristics that they're displaying. Like, again, their language to me, I don't know why they're speaking broken language and why they act so weird. I don't know, maybe they eat the trash, and I have no idea. I'm not a big fan of that storyline, but we get a little bit of that. We meet a new character, Sadiq, I believe is his name. We see Carl feels this connection with them about their mom, so we meet him. Carl takes him. He says he wants to take him to the community, so we see how that plays out. Really, again, the biggest thing that I liked about the episode, again, there was a lot of silly decisions being made on a lot of levels, from Rick to Michonne and Daryl and Maggie. All those, my favorite characters, made some really stupid decisions tonight. But the best moment was, seeing Carol and Ezekiel again have some character moments, a really good character moment where they're kind of talking about their, why Ezekiel connects with Carol and vice versa. So that really worked really well. But other than that, I thought this episode was pretty much which we've gotten. I'm a big fan of Walking Dead. I'll say that. I'll continue to watch it. But they have filler episodes, and this is definitely what that was. There were some character moments, but not in the sense of them having a character do things that are helping their character grow, but kind of taking some step backs. Again, seeing Daryl and Michonne and Rosita kind of go into the same thing about doing their side missions was frustrating, and Rick going to this garbage people, like, well, I don't know why he just thinks he can trust them, just take them out. I don't understand his motive there. Again, Carl didn't get much of the episode, but him just not listen to his dad and going off in the woods to find this guy, which that, it was nice to meet a new character, because we've gotten this season, the last few seasons, is just Hilltop, and the Kingdom and the people from Alexandria and the Sanctuary. So it was nice to get a new character, but that really didn't play out too much. So again, it was a filler episode. The highlight again to me was the RPG with Rosita, and then having that conversation with Ezekiel and Carol. So again, I would love to know what you guys thought of the episode. I don't know if you guys saw The Talking Dead. I wanted to make a point on this if you guys watched Talking Dead, where they revealed the character that's going to be crossing over between the two shows, which it was revealed to be Morgan, which I thought was pretty awesome because Morgan's one of my favorite characters, and I feel like the creators on The Walking Dead are kind of confused with what to do with him. So I think it was nice to kind of inject him into the Fear of the Walking Dead, which I've tried to watch. I just can't get into it. I watched like the first season, haven't really stuck up. I watch episodes every now and then, but I really can't. The show hasn't hooked me yet, so maybe this might be the thing that gets me to watch the show. But it was pretty interesting listening to the actor played Morgan, the way he was talking. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it made the way he was saying, he was thanking the crew and the cast of The Walking Dead. He made it seem like he wasn't going to come back on there. But again, they made a point that saying Scott Gimple said that there's more for the Morgan character. But I don't know, guys. Leave your comments below if you guys think Morgan's going to be a goner by the end of this season and kind of be injected into the Fear of the Walking Dead and kind of see what his backstory was from Georgia to where he's at now and with Rick and crew. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that out. So I thought that was interesting that they chose Morgan as the crossover character. But again, I thought the episode was kind of subpar. I thought the episode last week was just really good. I think one of the things that I'm not enjoying so much about the episode as we get these long, or the season so far, as we get these long breaks without seeing some of our favorite characters. Again, Michonne and Rosita and Negan being missing for so long. So hopefully, we got 2 episodes left before the mid-season finale. So hopefully we get back into gear, get some more of our characters on screen again together, and just getting their stuff together, stop doing all these crazy side missions. So again, I would love to know you guys' thoughts on tonight's episode, as well as, Morgan being the crossover character between the 2 shows. So definitely leave your comments below. Again, thanks for tuning in on this review of The Walking Dead. I'll see you guys next week. Again, follow us on Instagram at Movie Files and Twitter at Movie Files Live, and we'll see you guys again. Take care, guys. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that video, go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like and share button, as well as subscribe to our page. We have some awesome reviews for movies as well as TV shows, so definitely subscribe to this channel, and we will see you guys again shortly. Take care.